is awesome. Well, that's good.
It feels good because guys like Baldwin, they're Hall of Famers, so kind of puts the pressure on you, but they are also great coaches. So my average has jumped about 35 minutes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun. A little bit of exercise.
Kermit, you taking all week off to prep for the game?
No, I wish I could.
I know, right?
I think I am going to take Friday off.
I looked at tickets, and the tickets weren't too bad. It was the airline prices and the hotel that were going to get you.
Was it price of 75?
Huh?
500?
What?
Ticket prices.
For two, I could get them under 5, but they were up in the nosebleeds. What's up, Sambo? How are you? Fantastic. Good. Yours? I was asleep by 8:30. I'm old. I can't do that anymore, Sambo.
I got a free text from a bunch of guys I went to school with, and I texted and said, well, it's about 6:30. I said, I better take some of you old guys, we're all the same age. Some of you old guys, because I know you ain't gonna make it till midnight, so I better wish you happy New Year now. A couple of them said, yeah, you're probably right. One guy said, well, I know I'm going to be early. I got a pickleball tournament in the morning if I can get up. Bunch of old people.
All right. It is 6:01. Let's call the meeting of the Board of Works and Public Safety for Monday, January 5th to order. Deputy Madam, roll call, please.
Boyd. Here. Krim. Here. Jones.
Here.
Tyner.
Here.
Waters.
Here. Board, you were presented with the minutes from the Monday, December 1st, 2025 meeting. If there are no amendments or corrections to those minutes, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Got a motion on the floor by Mr. Krim. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Waters. All in favor say aye. And opposed would be the same sign. Moving down the agenda this evening, number 3 are the claims. Deputy Madam.
You all received the claims for December. They are the amount of $2,418,606.86.
Are there any questions for Deputy Madam regarding the claims?
Just one. We had a $14,000 payment to the county. Was that the 911
No.
dispatch? That's different.
Yes, 14,000.
Claims amount, so I have no idea. Do you know who did it?
I can't get it to open.
Mandy, can you pull up the claims from what Allison said, please?
It was easier when we had highlighted and have it in front of me.
I'm looking, sorry.
Thank you.
I am too. I'm scrolling. There's so many pages.
Yeah, there, as I say, it's a lot of pages.
It looked like a familiar amount. I just thought that's what it was.
Does it say county fire protection?
Hold on, I got it up.
County hydrant, remember?
Yeah, fire protection, hydrant rental, it says like general council, hydrant rental, fire protection. It's $14,333.83.
Okay. I went through it so quick. I saw county, I guess I didn't go far enough over.
It's right down there from it. Madison County Council of Government,
There you go, that's the one.
our local assistance, 14,000, right? You-
So that's what we pay, to the council of government's call, Madison County call. So it's Jerry Bridges,
Council.
yeah, and his, organization.
Okay. Call, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I make a motion to approve.
Got a motion on the floor by Mrs. Boylan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tyner, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Deputy Madam, are there any additional claims? No additional claims this evening. We'll move down to utility adjustments. Utility adjustments for December 2025 for the consideration in the January 2026 meeting are in the amount of $2,711.93. That breaks down the water department at $2,197.60, wastewater at $555.03, and then a credit of trash of $40.70. Ms. Basham is in the audience if there are any questions. If there are no questions regarding the adjustments for the city utilities, I would entertain a motion to approve. Got a motion on the floor by Mr. Waters. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tyner. All in favor say aye. And opposed would be the same sign. Number 5 on the agenda this evening is the Pipe Creek interlocal agreement. Chief Sullivan, would you like to come forward, please?
This is the agreement that we spoke about last month. You guys agreed upon the prices, stuff like that. I went to their last board meeting last Tuesday evening, and the board and the trustee all signed the agreement. So this is just basically presented to you guys for Mayor Jones to sign, so that agreement can go into effect.
And this is a similar agreement, Chief, that we have with Duck Creek Township as well.
Yes, yep, same price.
Board, do you have any questions for Chief Sullivan?
This is great.
Thank you.
Chief, you do have a copy signed by trustee Dunaway.
Yes, the mayor's assistant does have the actual copy.
Perfect, I see it right here. Yep, thank
Okay.
you.
And their advisory board as well. There's no questions. I'd entertain a motion to approve the interlocal agreement of emergency ambulance services between the city of Elwood and Pipe Creek Township. Got a motion on the floor by Mr. Krim. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Waters and Mrs. Boylan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed would be the same sign.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Number 6 on the agenda this evening is the long-term control plan with Cecil Whitaker. Cecil.
Thank you. I'm here today because we're continuing to work on the long-term control plan and the PER for the wastewater treatment plant. In the last 4 years or so, we've been looking at the schedule and the types of facilities that are needed in different areas. There's 3 areas in a long-term control plan. There's areas along Big Duck Creek, at the wastewater treatment, and Little Duck Creek. And the original schedule was developed in 2010, 2011, and so what you have before you is the schedule for all the years, what's been completed and what has not been completed. The big thing tonight is that in the past year, we've had discussions with IDEM on the long-term control plan about the length of time allotted for completion of the items and which items should take priority. One of the big factors in that was the proposed State Road 28 improvements, okay? Who knows when those are actually going to be completed? I don't have an updated schedule. I don't believe the city does either. That has such a major impact because that entire road from end to end drains into your sewer system. And so the approach that was taken, but not yet formally approved, was to redirect the schedule away from that area, with the understanding that other parts of the schedule would continue at like the wastewater treatment plant and at Little Duck Creek. That revision, though discussed over the last year, has never really been formally submitted. And because we're now doing the PER for the wastewater treatment plant, we had a discussion with IDEM, and they indicated that it was an appropriate time to submit to them the revised schedule and the reasons behind it. So in your package, you'll see a little schedule like this and a letter that explains the city's rationale for reorienting timeframes, asking for more time. And this has already been reviewed informally with IDEM during the past year. So they now need a formal request for an amendment. That's what we're asking for tonight, to take this schedule, submit it to IDEM, and get approval to get the additional 2 years and refocus energies where it seems appropriate at this time.
So it was probably the middle of November board. Cecil, myself, Josh Gender all got on a conference call with IDEM, and we let them know the opportunities that we had in the city of Elwood and how big of an impact the State Road 28 project was going to be. And we didn't want to throw good money on top of bad. So when we started discussing with them our plans and the impact of 28 and the diversion of the stormwater coming off of that area where we have some CSOs, they were very supportive of us doing a extension and a change, because we didn't want to start on plan A and then plan B come in and say, okay, we're going to move everything out of that area because State Road 28 is going to be reconfigured. So that's kind of where we are at now. There are some interceptors that we're looking at. There's some CSO areas that we're looking at, but we've put a pretty solid plan together with IDEM that they were very, very supportive of when we had our discussions. And as Cecil stated, it is more now just a formality for us to ask for an extension so we can see where the cards are going to fall on possibly the 28 project being re-energized or going a different way, because currently we're treating everything that we can that's coming to the plant, but we've got to get out into the main system and catch what's overflowing before it gets to the plant. So Josh and his team have been doing some upgrades and some improvements at the plant to take on everything that we can get to us, but now we've got to get it to us. So that's where we're at. 28 is going to divert a ton of water out of our wastewater treatment plant, really put us in a good position. Unfortunately, the way NDOT worked, it just didn't line up, stars didn't align like we needed it to separate our stormwater and our wastewater at this point. A lot of it was money, but we're going to continue to work on that and press hard, because combined sewers are something they're wanting everyone to separate, and when the opportunity arises itself, we're going to be in a prime position to be able to do that. Board, do you have any questions for Cecil? And basically, you just asking for the approval to send this letter with my name on the back.
Exactly. I don't sign anybody, so that's all we need.
So, board, is there a motion to approve the letter being sent to IDEM?
Motion.
Got a motion on the floor by Mrs. Boylan. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Waters. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Thank you, Cecil.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Board, that does wrap up the agenda for Monday, January 5th, 2026. Would entertain a motion to adjourn? Motion on the floor by Mr. Waters. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Tyner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed would be the same sign. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
John's a little sheltered.
Yeah.
Every time we talk to him, he says no.
Okay.
But that's just, there's never a short version.
How was your holiday?
Yeah.
Must be the wrong one to ask.
Are you going to the innovation award? The innovation award over the, you're right, plan.
Yep, short and sweet.
Okay.
We can start tops a little.
Yeah. She's just a doctor and then my office.
Literally half my office is back there. Two of them getting in and all that, in the bathroom.
Did that about scare you to death? I haven't either, so let me know how it is.
Oh, you know, I had to get ready in like 2 minutes because Crosby's practice ran out of hurry. And I'm like, you know, make sure.
I got everybody else's out.
You're all right. Did you guys all have a good Christmas? Good.
Have you spent much time out there before?
Kyle and I have been out there a couple times. We went literally like the month before COVID hit. And it was fun, but it was like 70 degrees. This time it was like true.
Winter.
at least we're getting closer. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer.
know what's not?
And like a 2 week. Like, yes.
See what happened to me in this Groundhog Day. I thought we were going to end up in the loop.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't need them, I just buy them and give them away.
Yep. You too.
Oh, what's on the back, and that's what it says, it'll be this. It'll be that, okay.
Large.
We don't like phosphorus around there.
And it changed. I had permits. But this country, he wants to win games. He's been up 45 years. And still goes up. Nobody can tell me when you got 10 kids, you can't get them all the way. Sometime the first of all. You may not, that's why Dave, because he's OCD. He had a chart. And we had all carry down to 3 minutes because we were just like 6 minutes. And 3 minutes to go, he's in the Dave did that. And we kept it, it wasn't a game, we didn't get that. And I overrated Star Wars, so that everybody comes to this because there was a bunch of Star Wars. So that everybody got that. And we still.
Yeah, no, she sent out it's just white base.
Mayor's not gonna be here and John's not here. You want to convene the meeting and get Mayor's not gonna be here? Get a new president elected.
Best one we ever had.
Who's actually be here? Or recording?
We have to elect a new president anyway, so we can do that first. Councilors, if I could have your attention for just a second, both the mayor and President Wright are not currently here. I've been asked to conduct a roll call along with Ms. Leonard, and then we can elect a new president so we can get this thing started. So, Marnie, if you would, roll call.
Abernathy.
Here.
Everson.
Here.
Tealish.
Here.
Noon.
Here.
Tyner.
Here.
Waters.
Here.
Wright.
And we do have a quorum, and the first order of business is for the vote for a council president. Are there any nominations for president for the Elwood City Common Council for 2026?
I nominate Danielle.
I have a nomination of Danielle Noon. Are there any other nominations for president? Hearing none, all those in favor of Councilwoman Noon serving as council president, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Madam President. Would you like to conduct the next election?
throwing it right in, huh? Can I do it from here?
Sure, or you can come up here to preside.
All right. Well, we'll see how this rolls. Okay. Next on the agenda is vote for council vice president. Do I have any motion for vice president?
Same time.
Are there any other nominations? All those in favor? All those opposed? All right. Do we need to do a roll call or anything? All right. Congratulations, Sammy. All right, 1 second.
Is there the, like,
I can keep you in mind.
I don't have one.
no, I got that.
Okay, what do
I
you
mean,
need?
the thing that says like,
All the script?
yeah. It's all right. We'll roll with it, right?
All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the council committees. Is there any discussion on any of the committees?
We need to replace John on a couple of them. Recycle's one of them. He's on a couple more. Council of Government on that one. Internal Control Committee is on that one. Tax abatement. ADA.
Do we need to do that now, Jeff, or do we, can we wait?
No, I think in
Proceedings?
past practice, I think we've asked that names be brought to the next meeting for final approval.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't officially resigned.
Right, so he would still be on there.
Okay.
But
Okay. Well, so there was discussion as to whether to replace John on any of the committees he sits on. But we could just table it.
Yeah, that gives us a month. Yeah.
Do I have a second?
We need to do the board work. Well, they're all mayor appointed.
Yeah, they're all,
Yeah.
they're all mayor appointed. Redevelopment Commission, they're all, we have our 2 appointees, but we can always,
Yeah.
nominate or table that and come up with other ideas, or keep them, or
Oh, which one?
ERC.
Oh,
I think those are really the only ones. Unless there's any other discussion on, I know there's a couple, citizens or city employees that have nobody on them, but, and if we wanna table this and see if there's anyone we like to discuss or bring to the next meeting. I know there's already a motion to table.
well, on the redevelopment, me and Jim were talking, I think you'd sent out an email, something, I don't know if this is the right time to discuss it or not, but we talked about maybe getting the person off the council. I don't think we need to have more than one, but just somebody that would be a liaison more or less between the council and the redevelopment, so we kind of know what's going on, because sometimes I think we're kind of in the dark about what's going on, we find out about it later, and it'd be nice if we kind of was up to speed on what was going on.
Yeah, I know there's been several discussions throughout the last year, really, of that. Do we wanna just table the committees till next month so that we have more time since the holiday and, Next on the agenda is the approval of the, meeting dates. You all should have a copy of those, I believe. Any questions or concerns with these meeting dates? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Next on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes of the December 1st, 2025 meeting. Are there any edits or additions that we need to add? Did everyone have time to review those after they were sent out? I got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Sam. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the list is Resolution 2026-01, Elwood and Pendleton Court interlocal agreement. Any discussion? Or any questions? I know Shannon Croy, the office administrator, is in the audience if we have any questions for her. If there's no question.
How much would that add to our caseload? Have any idea at all?
So it's similar, I would say it's probably gonna be similar to Edgewood. Edgewood was about 10 cases this last year. Because it's just ordinances, so it goes through a process, just kind of like ours does. It goes through a process where you go through and you give them an opportunity, you send them notices, you do all that stuff. Once it gets to the point where there's no compliance, then it comes to the court, so that the court can do something about it.
What is there a fee? What would we cover the expenses for that?
Yeah, we do get fees for that.
Do we get fees from, we don't get fees from,
We get fees from Edgewood, we get fees from Pendleton, well, if we pass Pendleton, we get fees from Pendleton. We get fees for Alec when they do some of theirs, we don't have very many of Alec's.
but they have the
Their ordinances.
city ordinances? We can't recoup any money on state ordinances, or state law can.
We already do that stuff, so like the infractions and things like that, that are
But
like
we
IC
get it
codes and things like
in-house.
that. We get Alec, we get Edgewood, or we get Alec, we get, Somerville, we get Frankton. So it's split half, so with the state and all that stuff is split half between the county.
Are we still losing a lot of money, even though we get money from them?
What do you mean losing? We're not losing money from doing it,
Okay.
if that's what you're trying to say. We don't lose any money doing it. Because it doesn't create enough caseload for us to have to, like, say, add another person or do any extra work like that. So it generates in the system just like an infraction ticket does. And it automatically generates in the system, we just print it off and then they come in front of the judge.
Okay.
On a normal court date, it's not an extra court date, it's not anything we don't already do.
Thanks, Shannon. Any other questions for Shannon?
I move we pass the order. The
I got a
resolution.
motion to pass the resolution.
Second.
Let's see, is this the first night it's been introduced? I can't remember.
It is.
It is. So, do I need a motion to pass it on the first night?
Yes.
Do I have a motion on the floor to pass the resolution on the first night it's been read and introduced?
So moved.
Second, was that you, Jim, that seconded it? Seconded by Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
And then that requires a roll call, correct? Do I have a motion on the floor for a roll call vote to read them and approve the motion on the first night it's been introduced?
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abernathy,
Aye.
Ederson, Keelish,
Aye.
Noon,
Aye.
Tyner,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
tax abatement.
There is a member from the Elwood Community Development Corporation that is present to speak on this, Madam President.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Carr?
Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
all of you. I'm here on behalf of Elwood Economic Development Corporation. This is the same issue concerning the Huntington Bank building that we had the executive session on. So I will not bore you with going through everything that we talked about that evening. But the important thing is that here is an opportunity, we believe, at ECDC to finally do something with a building that's been sitting empty for 15 years, I think. At least it's been 10 that I know of. Since I was here, I had occasion to tour the building when it was being appraised. The young lady there's no electricity on it, so all she had was a flashlight, and she was a little concerned about going into a building, so I happened to follow her around. I now know what everybody's talking about when they talk about the condition of it. There are black things coming down the wall that I'm presuming is mold, but what we're asking for today is basically an extraordinary tax abatement of 12 years. The reason we're asking for that is ECDC is going to go out on a limb, and we're going to spend $450,000 to buy this thing that may well have to be torn down. I've heard estimates of $300 to fix it, but we're paying $450 to buy it. That's pretty close to buying junk. But unless somebody buys it, that's what we keep hearing. I think if we can put together a deal that the second thing on here is the deduction approval. That we can withdraw, and I'll explain why. But that's just to show what we think is going on and to give you the actual numbers. The statute requires that the building owner has to apply. We are not the owner, but I will be asking you to pass both the motion tonight and actually approve it by unanimous consent so that we can go to a closing. We're proposing closing on the building before your next meeting. But the resolution that you have is a contingent approval of the 12-year abatement. It gives ECDC the right to advertise that we will sell you a building for what we have in it, and we'll get you a tax abatement to do something with it. You have to then apply to this board, filing the proper form, which will show what you're going to do, how much you're going to spend there, how many people you're going to have. You're going to build a 12-story building and only hire 12 people. At least you have to disclose whatever it is. I will be honest with everybody, there is no option on it. There is no signed agreement. ECDC has talked to a lot of people over the last 5 years. It took to put this deal together. We're going to go out on a limb. We certainly know that we can't do it with a TIF bond, which is what we usually use, and you guys are all familiar with them now. This is what the buildings we do have here. The reason TIF bonding only applies to increased value. Well, if somebody spends $450,000, which is what we're paying for it, we're going to get our money. We have to get our money back because ECDC's a 501c3. Then what amount of abatement they would get, or they would get for a tax bond, would not justify doing anything because you only get increased valuation. So somebody might spend $500,000 and increase the dumb thing by $100,000, like putting a pool in your backyard, decreases the house. So we are not going to try that. This is something that's new. We've not tried it in Indiana, or well, it's been done in Indiana. It's not been done in Elwood before. And so we're asking you to approve in advance a 12-year abatement on that building, but the individual who buys from ECDC will have to come here with this form. Well, I don't have a copy, but I'm sure that each of you have one, showing what they're spending on the building, how many people they are, and actually then you will approve at that time the abatement for a specific buyer who will be buying from ECDC. So right now, we're asking for a contingent approval of a concept that we can then this building to somebody in the public to do something with it. I mean, it's falling down. Well, no, it's solid enough. It's like the pyramids. It may last for 2,500 years. I don't think any of us want to live in the pyramids either. It is, I had not been in it. I think the last time before that I'd been in it, Dave, was with you and I, 10 years ago maybe?
Yeah, at least 10.
It's not any better now, but
I think I heard it had old problems, right?
well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, I don't know the condition of the roof. I mean, different people have told us about different things. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a builder, but even walking through it in the dark with a flashlight, anything sitting empty for 12 years is not going to be improved any. That's obvious.
The roof is 1985, because I put it on.
Yeah, well, you would recall, but I think the last time before this last week I was ever in it was that day with you. And like I said, I know it was a long time ago, I forgot what it was. But that's what I'm here for. I'm asking you to approve that, and because I have a closing, and you know, we'll take, I understand, a unanimous vote to go through both of them, and you have counsel, my learned and distinguished partner, to guide you through it. But I'll be glad to answer any questions. I know there are all kinds of rumors out there who might move into it. Give me those rumors. We'll be glad to call them. But there have been stories about the school. There have been stories about almost everybody in the world coming into it. And frankly, we hope they do.
Do you have any, are there any potential buyers that have been,
I'm sorry.
are there any other potential buyers?
There are no commitments. We've had a lot of people look at it. And unfortunately, most of the people who have looked at it have talked about one of two things. One of the things they've talked about is simply the size. It is a mammoth building. And I mean, I've forgotten how many conference rooms. There are 4 conference rooms the size of this thing in it. But just on the top floor, the bottom floor is immense, and then has additional rooms. So one of the big things that we talked about was, well, I'd like to have it, but I only need 1/10 of it or 1/3 of it. So that's been one problem. The other problem is that everybody simply looks at it, and what they have asked us to do is say, well, we're worried about the condition, how much we think. So if one of the things that we had a buyer ask us for, well, I would be interested if you get a construction engineering study of what it would cost to fix it. Well, you know, it's no use even talking about who that was, because that conversation ended right there. Because of the amount of money, we do not know what it'll take. I have heard estimates as high as $350,000, and having been in it, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you know, now there are people who can do things cheaper, and that'd be fine. But right now, it's an eyesore downtown. Quite frankly, if we could pull this off and get something there, fix it up, just put something in it, and 10 people working there doing something, it'll change the downtown. It is, fortunately or unfortunately, the key corner of the whole town. I mean, it's Main Street. This is not town. Main Street goes the wrong way for being the main street, but it's on Main Street. It's the corner of the 2 main streets, and so we're going to try. And ECDC is going to go out on a limb. It took a long time to convince a bank that a 501c3 with no source of income could make payments. Well, we're not planning to make payments for very long. I did tell you that. Hence the request for the 12-year abatement. There will be no ECDC if we have to spend 15 years paying for this. I can assure you that.
So basically, Mike, this is just an enticement. This is just an enticement.
This is just an enticement. And I'll be honest, if ECDC had a use for the building, we wouldn't be asking for this because ECDC is a 501c3. We wouldn't be paying taxes anyway. But we're presuming we're going to sell it to somebody who will pay taxes. I mean, you know, unless you have hospitals, churches, or foundations. ECDC is basically a foundation, but they formed a corporation to do it. Those are the only ones that don't pay taxes. So we presume we're say, look, spend $1 billion on it and get a tax abatement for 12 years and get 50% of your money back. So that's the story. And any other questions, I'd be glad to try.
Has it been condemned by the Board of Health or anything?
No, not that I know of, and the reason, a couple of reasons for that, in my opinion. One, nobody's trying to do anything with it at this point in time. And where you really get into the questions of the Board of Health, let's say we wanted to reopen when I moved this town, there was something called Mangus Cafeteria across the street. Yeah, we all went there for coffee and what. Say you wanted to reopen Mangus Cafeteria in it. Now you have to get the Board of Health because you're gonna be serving food and having people. Right now, there's no reason for the Board of Health to care. They'll let it fall down. So I think that's why that hasn't happened. And no, Mangus is not asking, not what we talked to. I don't think they're still alive. I don't know. Any other questions anybody has?
So if you don't get it sold, if you do not get it sold over a period of time, you're still paying property taxes until you have a buyer, right?
Yeah, ECDC is gonna own it until we buy it. And we are scheduled to close on it the end of this month, I don't remember the day.
Okay.
So that's the reason for needing everything done today. Well, we're gonna go out on a limb, we're gonna buy it. If you approve this thing tonight, ECDC will buy it. But if somebody comes up within 24 hours with cashier's check, we'll own it very shortly. And they will then be obligated to, they will come before you and request a tax abatement based upon whatever they say they're gonna do with it.
Okay.
That's why you have this form that really doesn't say anything, and it wouldn't qualify, but it shows you what we have in mind. And it gives you the purchase price that ECDC is paying. It's now public record, that what ECDC will pay for it, and that's we're gonna advertise that as the sale price. Anything else? I want to thank you. It's always a pleasure to get to work with all of you. I've been up there several times doing projects like this.
All right, if there are no further questions for Mr. Farr, do I have a motion for unanimous consent? Oh,
I'm back.
I didn't know you were back.
Indiana law says you have to own the building to get a tax abatement.
True.
And I don't see anywhere in the resolution where it says it's contingent.
Well, it says that the individual will come before the board.
Contingency.
What the hell, kid?
All right.
The point is, I didn't ask them to approve it for ECDC. That the resolution approves it for whoever buys from ECDC.
It doesn't matter, you don't own it now, they can't approve it.
Absolutely they can. They can prove it contingent on whoever comes
You want
forward.
me to show you Indiana law right here?
I looked it up, Bill. I've been a lawyer longer than you have, but let's not get into that. Let's just say I disagree with you. Let them decide what they want to do.
I don't disagree, I want this project to go through. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that technically should own the property when you give the tax payment, but I think there should be an actual contingency clause. Jeff, what do you think?
What you're passing is a resolution, it's we're going to do this. You're binding yourself to do this at a future date with the future owner. This thing, you're simply, the 12 years, you're simply approving the form. As Mike said, what the actual owner will have to come toward you, and before the tax abatement is effected and recorded, it'll be the owner.
Yes, because on that form, you have to say what you're gonna do, what.
Right, and this is
the whole list.
So I think that both Mike and Bill are both. You could pass this, but in order for the thing to actually be recorded and the statement of benefits, it'll be irrelevant. So I think
So, you plan to close at the end of this month, you already got a closing.
I'm sorry.
You already have a closing schedule.
Yes.
I'm just saying you wanna make sure and have this is passed on contingency, contingent of them closing, because then they will be the owner.
Well, although it does say ECDC has to buy it, so I think that's a contingency.
Where's it say that?
Well, it mentions ECDC as a part. If it's not ECDC, then this resolution will be, yeah.
Kind of roundabout way.
I know that the word contingency.
No, I know, that's fine.
I mean, I'm just wanna make sure the city council knows that.
So do we need to add anything to this resolution, or are we?
We can add a G that, or a section 5, that this resolution is contingent upon a successful close of ECDC by a pencil amendment. Yeah, yep. I'll pencil it in there and we can get a clean copy, assuming it passes.
Alright. Everybody okay with adding a contingency?
I'll write that in, that can be on the sign.
Alright, then, do I have a motion for unanimous consent to move forward with the possible passage of ordinance 2026-02 with the letter G contingency added to this resolution on the same night it has been introduced?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I have all in favor? Opposed? Do I have a motion for, roll call vote on the first night resolution 2026-02?
Second.
Motion and a second.
Abernathy,
Aye.
Everson. Steelish. Newman.
Aye.
Steiner. Waters.
Aye.
Wright.
Thank you all very much.
Next on the agenda.
You'll sell it.
Next on the agenda is statement of benefits, vacant building reduction approval, motion only.
Statement of benefits can just be a standard motion to adopt form.
Alright, so I had a Kim, did I hear you make a motion? I got a motion by Kim to accept. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Alright. Next on the agenda, we have a couple, just outstanding items. I don't know if anyone has any updates or has any discussions. The first one is the 17th and South F Street four-way stop.
Yeah, I don't have any updates on that, I was on vacation and then, holidays and stuff, so I'll get working on that.
Alright. How about 1802 North C Street handicap sign parking problems? Jim, was that yours?
Yeah, I think everybody needs to go down and look at it and figure out what they want to do. I will say this, we allowed handicap sign, we had a discussion about this, that someone had 4 parking places and we gave them a handicap sign on the street.
I think potentially, I know which one you're talking about because it was my district. I think in the future, or maybe we need to obviously table this for further, but perhaps we come up with some guidelines when we make these decisions for handicap signs, being as if they have additional parking and stuff like that, that if they have to meet, X, Y, Z in order for us to consider it. I know we've already set the precedent, but with the one in my district, but I know this one in particular has brought up many discussions.
Because this is going to continue to happen as people age, they want to be close to their front doors when it amounts to a lot.
I agree, because we're opening up a can of worms here, if we just start.
Yeah, we are.
Anybody come in and say, hey, I need a handicap parking spot in front of my house.
So it could potentially be a thing where those that we've granted are kind of grandfathered, right? Where moving forward, we come up with some
Yeah, we can't go.
guidelines.
And you know, the other side of that is, we put up handicap signs, and we find out 3 years down the road, these people have moved.
I will say, I had one of those in my district as well, and I believe we removed it. I talked with it was a tenant of, and so I talked to the owner of the house, the tenant had moved, and I believe we removed the handicap sign.
We probably need a list of where all of that, and go through Amy to say, who owns this property now? You know what I mean?
It's not that.
Well, I guess my question is, what are we doing? Are we gonna then sit here from now on, and after they've got a doctor's statement, and they went to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles and got the permit, we're gonna determine whether or not they really need a handicap spot?
That's true.
Well, that's where the criteria comes.
That can just be some of the criteria, yeah.
Well, they've met the state's criteria.
That's what I'm saying, they've already met the criteria.
If they've
So
done
I'm
this,
not gonna
this, and
tell them
this.
they can't have it. If they
Well,
already
that's
met
what we're talking about here, he's met the criteria.
Yeah.
He's got all the criteria.
I think they're just saying getting something more of like a, would it be an ordinance if we created that kind of criteria moving forward?
Like a checklist.
Yeah, and then you have to, who decides, that's always the question when you have
Well, yeah,
something like that.
that's what I mean. I don't know that I want to decide whether the guy's handicapped enough.
No, I agree. And I know like the police chief's involved in that assessment as well too, is what was his taking on it?
But he kind of stays neutral on some of them, you know. And I think that's part of the problem, because some of these people they want to park in their front door, which I understand, you know. But they've got parking, it's just out back by the garage, you know. And I'm not singling anybody out. There's a lot of them that's that way, you know.
I mean, Dave, really, do you think anybody comes up and applies for one should get one, no matter what? I mean, that's what I'm saying, we gotta have.
Well, I guess, what are we going to say? Whether you're handicapped enough? I mean, if you're in a wheelchair, is that enough? And they've got a ramp out front? Or are we going to say, well, you're not handicapped enough, so we're not going to allow you? I don't want to make that decision.
No, I don't either.
Not that kind of decision, no, but I mean, I'm just saying, that, people come up and say, well, hey, I want a handicap spot in front of my house. I'm not handicapped, I just want one there.
I get what you're saying, like,
Those are the ones we can say no to.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
there's gotta be a.
if you have an in-law or something that's handicapped and you may have a handicap sign in your car for them, doesn't mean I need a handicap sign outside front of my house so that when
Right.
my mom comes, that she has a spot to park. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that the DMV gives them the license plate, pretty much means they're enough.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
But that comes from the physician. They have to get a form from the DMV that the physician signs
Right.
off on. So, like, I work for 5 physicians. I have 2 that will sign a form whether you're handicapped or not handicapped. And I have the other 3 that are handicapped, that they,
Right.
no, you have no disabilities, you can have it for 6 weeks while you're recovering from your knee replacement. But then the other ones, sure.
Part of the other problem too is we let people take a lot and have 6 or 7 apartments there, and they don't have parking.
We need to address that, so that there has to be off-street parking provided by the landlord.
Yeah.
But we've got to do that.
We've got to watch that even a lot closer than we have. And it didn't help with it during this 10 to 12 years, you know, it just went on for quite a while. That one particular place, I don't know
I
how.
know when we approved all the new apartments and stuff like that, that was one of the contingencies that they had to have off-road parking.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, we got, Jeff, we not make it mandatory on any multifamily zoning?
You could, yeah, you're allowed to have all kinds of parking regulations, part of your zoning authority, another arrow in your quiver is to make them renewable.
Yeah.
Because people's residences change all the time, and
Yeah.
Okay.
we make sure that the handicap, pass matches up with the current resident, so it's prevent the things that we can all think of.
So I think for next meeting, we need to look at drafting an ordinance to get to Jeff and his staff for maybe some requirements moving forward with handicap signs, right? So physician forum, whatever it may be. And then also an ordinance for the zoning authority that we have on these landlords, like he just stated.
The problem is we can't back up.
No, we can't. No, it would just be moving forward.
As a, I'm not saying burning down, I'm not saying that, but as it changes, we gotta control it.
And like he said, like Jeff said, we can put in there a clause where, they have to renew it every year, every 2 years, whatever it may be.
They should expire every 12/31 or something, or 5/15 or something like that, because, no, unfortunately, things change.
Okay. All right. Next is the e-bike Carmel ordinance discussion.
We could discuss this a little bit among ourselves. And like I said, one of the factors, the big factor to me is, I don't want to be driving down the street, and they got stop signs on both sides of me, and I got the right of way, and one of these kids or somebody goes out in front of me. And you all know about my school, I see it all the time, and I don't want the driver of the vehicle to be responsible when they don't have a stop sign or anything. They run these stop signs left and right, so this Carmel ordinance is a good ordinance. And I talked to Danielle last night, Saturday today, and I told them, I don't want them to take out the part about the bike path, because 10 years from now, we may have bike paths, and we'll have to put it in there. I just leave it like it is. I think it's a good ordinance. I want to protect both the kid on the scooter, whatever you ride, skateboard, whatever. I want to protect him, but I really want to protect that person that's legally driving a vehicle down the street, and the kid goes out riding and he hits him. Just like a bicycle to me. Bicycles are supposed to stop signs too. I know they don't have to, but that's on them. But I don't want that driver of that vehicle to be responsible because, he didn't stop at that stop sign. I've seen it today, I see it every day. I just don't want anybody injured. I think it's something that needs to be public in the paper, has to be put in the paper so these parents know.
Do we, are there any other additions or edits that did you guys all have time to review that ordinance that Ally sent out? Do we maybe want to have Jeff's office draft a version for us with all to bring to the next meeting?
Yeah, I read through it, I think it's a good ordinance.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay. Jeff, can you add that to your list, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And then there's one other thing I want to bring up. What can we do about the courts, Jeff, as far as like Alex sending people over here in Pendleton? I know we signed this agreement with Pendleton and so forth, but everybody's sending people to court here, and I've been told we lost $187,000 last year.
Well, the court's not supposed to make money. It's
No,
a civil.
but I don't want to spend, there's only 50-some courts in the state of Indiana.
Right.
And I don't want us,
Thanks to the state closing a bunch of them.
I really don't want to see this one closed. But I'd like to somewhere recoup some of the money.
Your interlocal agreements with people bringing in the OVs, they're not, as Shannon said, there's not a lot of them. I know here in Elwood, we probably have, on average, I don't do it now, that's why that guy's sitting out there. 3 or 4 a week on average. But the key point is your interlocal agreement, they must match, any fee you charge must match the approximate costs that those interlocal agreements cause the work. And based on what Shannon has talked about today, there wouldn't be a lot from the penalty. So could you charge something? Does it cost the court more? Yes. But you would have to, in order to pass that fee, determine the amount. The answer is yes, you could charge something. How much can you charge based on the increased administrative costs that these other municipalities bring in? That's the key. And it's not gonna be substantial. It's not gonna be enough to pay a salary.
I mean, I see this out here in the parking lot, and they have court night. If all them people gotta go to Madison County, they ain't even got room for the parking.
Now, there are court costs and things like that that get paid in, and Shannon, I'm sure, can explain that a lot better than I can. So I got a look right there. I'm not gonna get any favors from the Elwood City Court staff anytime soon.
I mean, I could, but I wasn't told that
That's okay.
I would need to address that today, so.
Sure. Sorry.
But I can give you a little feedback. So the state ones that you're talking about, those are not determined by us, those are determined by the prosecutor. The prosecutor decides where those cases go, not us.
And I believe the cops get the choice too as well, don't they? Not
anymore.
There's a line.
Prosecutor
You're right,
has
there's a
drawn
line.
lines, and these cases go to Anderson, these cases go to Elwood.
Yep.
Misdemeanor wise, the prosecutor's office has drawn a line.
We can certainly ask the judge to come to the next meeting if you have questions for him.
Will you talk to him?
Or I can talk to him.
And it's not on him, really,
No.
you know, it's, he's doing his job, it's just that I was told that 30% of the people come over here, you know, rest of them from out back,
Yeah, it's no longer just an Elwood City Court.
It is not accountable, basically, almost, you know, I mean, it's,
Again, thanks to the state. All right.
I
Is
have
there,
one thing.
yeah?
A general thing. I just want this brought up so it can be on next month's agenda. I was approached by one of my constituents, Mark Slate. He lives on the corner right there where H Street runs into 28th Street. And they use that for a truck route. H Street's a fairly narrow street. It's not a wide street like most of our streets are. It tees right there at 28th Street. And semi-truck traffic coming down there has created ruts on the side of the road. Plus, when they go to turn onto 28th Street, they knock Mark's mailbox down once. There's just not a lot of room for them to turn. So we need to look at that and maybe try to figure out a different truck route for them to take instead of taking H Street to get to 28th Street. I just want to put that in for discussion for the next meeting.
Where are they coming from, as far as?
I think might be coming from Stillwater, the new building.
and they're probably coming north and south both, I'm just guessing,
Yeah,
probably more from there.
yeah, the old cell phone. Stillwater owns that now.
It's a good avenue for me, it's just not wide enough.
It's not wide enough. If we make it wider, that would, I mean, I don't know how that would pan out, but something's gotta give because it's not a good place for them to go down.
Okay.
So we'll me and Jim's gonna go try to take a look. I talked to him, he said he'd go down there with me and we'd look at it, see what happens. And, since we're at some nice weather, this week, be okay to get out.
Okay. Is there anything else? Anyone have anything else? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Joe, second by Sam, all in favor? Opposed?
See you next month.
I wish we could take that northwest corner out there. I wish we could take that northwest corner.
Are you the first woman to serve as president?
Probably.
happens here.
Jim, have we ever had
For
a,
all the younger generations.
have we ever had a female
My daughter,
city council president?
the
You're
future
aware
of
of?
politics.
My best guess would be no.
Were you surprised that you were nominated?